Good afternoon, guys. How's everybody doing? Wife and daughters going in to do some shopping. Thought I would jump on, do a Periscope. I was sitting there thinking about being an entrepreneur. Why is it that we have to beat people over the head to support us? In the same breath will compliment you tremendously on stepping out on faith and starting your own business and writing your own books, publishing your own books, or whatever business that you're in. Hey, darling, how's everything? Yeah, soul brother here, hanging in there, trying to do something. It just got me thinking. I'm like, folks will tap you on your back and smile and everything and say how proud of you that you're doing for yourself. But yet, when you go to put the products out to be purchased, you got to twist an arm. You got to, no, I'm not driving. Look, see, I am sitting. I'm smart. I ain't going nowhere. Look, those are the cars going by. Actually, it bothers me when I see people periscoping and driving. And I noticed that at book events, I'm not so much worried about book events because I know when you have so much to choose from, it can be no problem. It could be a lot. I'm just talking about in general. When you go out to sell books, when you go out to sell other products, and I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs who are out here trying to do what they can do to sell their products, how so many individuals turn their back, but yet will stand in line to buy overpriced products, not understanding the care and the concern that went into making clothing, publishing a book, the materials that's needed, the time that's spent. And yes, unfortunately, in the literary arena, we have a lot of books that are being tossed out daily. You used to say monthly, but now it's daily, that are not of quality. And so people automatically put that in their head. I'm just not buying it. They don't even take the time to speak to the author. They don't even take the time to speak to the business owner. And then when they do, many automatically want some type of discount. Like, my prices are on my website. I own my website, bravenpublishing.com. And my prices are there, and automatically people will reach out, and before they say anything else, the first thing is, well, can I get a discount? Can I get a discount? We've never done business before. You ask for a discount from somebody that you have a long-standing relationship with. You don't walk into McDonald's and ask, can I get a discount on the Big Mac? Can I get the Big Mac for a cheaper price? You pay whatever McDonald's is ripping you off for. And the crazy part is, that the Big Mac is overpriced, but you pay for it anyway. And I say it all the time. You don't go into clothing stores and demand a lower price, especially if they've already told you that it's discounted. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, and then I'm going to play the race card to a degree. When you're a person of color, dealing with another person of color, how do you compliment me and then completely ignore me right afterwards? You compliment me on, oh, KL, I'm glad to see that you're doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm glad to see you're doing this for other authors, but yet won't promote me in the least, won't mention me to anybody else. People buy what they want, not what they need. That's true. But I don't have a problem. Hey, now. Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, JP. Oh, that's my girl, Miss Simmons. And I mean, it's what I just don't understand is I hear all this talk, and it's rhetoric to me, that we need to come together. We need to do whatever. First of all, we can't even support our own with just a basic understanding. If a person has put business in place, Life True, break the bank to pay. Yeah, I mean, they'll pay for a name that they have no connection to, a name with a company that they don't know anybody that works for the company. When you're dealing with an entrepreneur, you're speaking to the owner of everything. So if you can strike up a good business relationship with them, not only will you probably get products cheaper, you're probably going to get a better made product, or over time get something that you're really going to use and need. And I'm not just talking about books, because I know artists, I know entertainers, I know cake designers, I know clothing manufacturers, I know sneaker designers, I know you name it, it's out there. And when they go out to try to sell what they need to sell, people thumb their nose at them without even stopping understanding what this person had to invest in themselves to get to this point. Yet, you'll compliment the person to death. To me, it's almost like you're insulting me when you compliment me, but you don't even look to consider to do business with me. You don't even think to mention to somebody else that I do this. And then you don't even come and talk to me to just get an idea of what you could do to possibly help me. Because for some strange reason, I don't want to see the person that looks like me get more money than I have. Yet other cultures don't do that. Other cultures don't try to tear each other down like we do, sadly. Now, do they want to see you get rich? Some do, some don't. But just not the aversion that we have. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's hard enough. I mean, I work for the New York City Department of Education because it funds what I do. Because if I tried to live on, yes, it definitely is crabs in a barrel to a degree, but crabs don't want to let the other crab go. So there'll be no compliments there. The sad part is we compliment each other, but then nothing else. Okay, I gave you a compliment. I'm not going to do nothing else for you. And we actually, sadly, as folks of color, we seem to get offended when someone who looks like us is moving away, and then there becomes your crabs in a barrel. But then you'll go give your hard-earned money to a company or companies that could care less about anything that they're doing with you. Whereas if you deal with an entrepreneur, you have some say-so. And I see it extended to education. Lord knows some of the charter schools that some people have fought to put in place, some parents won't even consider. And Lord knows you got parents that won't consider homeschooling. But mindset is the problem. And sadly, it's conditioning. We're conditioned. And I'll give you an example. I took a class in college that talked about product marketing, and that you look at medicines. Ibuprofen is ibuprofen, Motrin is acetaminophen, and Aleve is naproxen sodium. Okay, so you go into the store, and Aleve is 200 milligrams of naproxen sodium. You see the Walgreens brand sitting right next to it, which is 200 milligrams of naproxen sodium, and people will still spend. Well, that's another part. When I try to get folks to pay for the coaching workshops, they don't want to pay for them. So then I'm stuck talking to two people. So I'm like, why am I wasting my time? Trust me, I have considered. I am no longer focused on it. What do you do when you want to support, but you think people... What do you do when you want to support, but you don't think people take you seriously? I try to reach people where they are, and we talk, and I see where we can build a connection. To me, it's about the relationship. It's one of the reasons why you don't see me promote as openly on Facebook and a lot of the other formats that I'm in. I don't ever want to seem like I'm begging for anything. What I do is I look for relationships that I can connect with, or people that I can connect with that's going to help me long term. So it's not just about my products, it's about me. I look for people that can support me. I look for people that I can support, and we go from there. People will pay for video games over books. Well, I understand that and the problem is, again, that goes back to the mindset, is that unfortunately we'll pay much more for entertainment than we will education. And sadly, that is big in America when you look at what athletes make compared to what educators make. So, oh my gosh. Black Biz Scopes. No, I haven't. Actually, please send me a message or send me some information about it. I love it. info@bravenpublishing.com. info@braven, BRAVIN publishing.com. Please send me any information, any groups, anything. I would love to. Well, I am in and out of my circles all the time. I am not stuck in any one particular circle. I wear many hats. And I do that for a reason, because my idea is the more people that I can be around, the more that I can learn and the more that I can do. I have more than one skill. So if I stop writing books tomorrow, I won't starve. If I stop teaching tomorrow, I won't starve. What I find is that you have to make sure that you're out learning constantly. So when you're around anyone, you have something to offer. I don't ever want to be in a circle anywhere and not be able to offer something constructive to the conversation and to be able to do business in any arena that I'm in. And so my background is such that I have a business degree, I have a degree in physical education and health education, and I have a master's degree in curriculum writing because I wanted to do various things. So if I'm somewhere, I can do that, or I'll learn how to do it. And also, I'm not adverse to learning. I'm learning constantly. I'm reading constantly, but not the type of reading. I don't read for entertainment, sadly. I'm getting there. But I read for learning purposes. And yes, definitely adding versus subtracting. But sadly, when we go out, we still have to be able to sell our products because you can only do business with the same people so often. You need to find new people. You need to be able to deal with new folks. And you want to give the people what they want. But when the people don't know what they want because they're so stuck on what they believe they want or what they believe is nice. Like I don't do a lot of works that attract. I do a lot of inspirational stuff. I do a lot of stuff that touches your heart, the stuff that a lot of men consider soft. Okay, whatever. I'm not into the whole gangster thing. I grew up with it. It's not a big thing for me. Now, I don't knock anybody's hustle who does it. Just like erotica, I used to do it. Don't do it anymore. I don't knock anybody's hustle that does it. But the thing is, as an educator, I am trying to uplift whoever I'm around. I am trying to help and heal whoever I can get closer to. So I'm going to just be me. But when I got to beat people over the head, almost verbally, emotionally, to get them to shake loose to support, it drives me crazy because I understand why so many people quit. I understand why so many people walk away. And we should at least be able to look to our own, to at least give us a foundation to then launch us into other areas. Now, when we go to other areas, we still have to have the ability to speak, which drives me crazy when I hear people that can't talk. I don't understand that. But you need to be able to go into any arena, sit down, and be able to bring something to the table to get something back. Also, looking at levels higher than the ones that you're on and trying to figure out how do I get to those levels and seeing if I can get some of those people on those higher levels to reach back. So as an entrepreneur, you grow. And you grow and your product should grow. Your product knowledge should grow. Your knowledge of the market should grow. Every year, you should be a little better at something that's connected to your business. But again, you still have to make sales. You still have to be able to go out. Now, a lot of people say you have to fail. Yes. But you got to be careful with failing and hoping to now rebound. Because if you invest too much and fail, you may not recover. Because it's not like financially you're going to be able to just go, ooh, I failed at this, let me do this. Doesn't always happen. And so I'm very critical when it comes to how I work my money, how I spend my money, who I spend my money with. And so a lot of times when folks see me and they wonder why they don't see me at different events, that events, first thing I'll say to them, that event doesn't do anything for me, and I'm not going to be there just to be seen. Because if the people there can't do anything for me, or the people that are promoting the event don't have my best interest in mind, why would I come there and spend money when there's nothing to be gained? Hoping? Never spend money hoping. Spend money with a purpose. And with your promotion and your marketing dollars, man, hold on, man, guard that like gold, because you already know folks are going to be a little reluctant in just giving. You got to give them reason to support you. And that's actually what I do. I try to give folks a reason to support me, and my products become an extension of that. So if a person goes, well, how can I support you? Well, you can invite me to come and speak. You can purchase one of the books. You can refer me to somebody who could use the services that my company provides. I used to do tutoring, but then I had to fight with folks with paying me to tutor. I'm like, I'm helping your child learn, and I got to fight you for the money for it. But yet I see 5 or 6 or 7 $60, $70 video games on the table. The hope is definitely not enough. Oh, there's the wife. Oh, I got to call her back. Yeah, I'll call her back in a second. But hope is definitely not enough, and you should know no aspect of your business should be connected to hope. You should have a sound plan to what you're doing, even if you're not where you need to be right now. You still need to have a plan for what you're doing, because if you're hoping, then you're throwing money or time into things that may get you nothing. My faith is the other part that helps me as an entrepreneur. I'm grounded in the idea that if I do the things that the Lord requires me to do, then doors will be open, even before I get there. So I just have to stay faithful to him, and then he'll lead me the rest of the way. So that's why I don't get too bent out of shape when people are the way that they are, because I know that as a man of God who doesn't hide it, I sometimes scare folks away because they think I'm a Bible thumper, or they think I'm gonna hit them over the head. Yeah, that's true. They'll spend the money at the club doing what they do. And the sad part about that is when you look at what a lot of folks will spend 2, 3, 4 times a month, is more than enough put to the side to invest in something that they're doing. And that's business owners too. I see a lot of entrepreneurs that spend way too much dough when they're at an event, hanging out, doing whatever. And I'm like, I know you didn't make that much money selling your books. Now you're going to go out and party like it's 1999. And what's your bottom line when you get home? I'm going back up to the hotel room and figure out if there's maybe something else I can do later on tonight, or maybe I can get some writing in, or maybe I could do something. Yes, there's always a time to relax and a time to enjoy it. But that's when I'm not working. When I'm somewhere, I'm working from the time I get there to the time I go home, because there's something that I can learn from that, something I can take from that. Well, my hope is that, I'll tell you what, you guys that are watching, and anybody that watches the replay of this, here's what I want you to do. Find a local entrepreneur in your neighborhood or on your social media listing. Contact them and ask them, is there anything that I can do to help support you? Now, of course, they're going to say, well, you can buy whatever. But if you don't have the money, how about simply saying, what can I do to support you? And maybe for 2 or 3 days in a row, put their information out there so people can see it. Or maybe mention it to 2 or 3 people that you really know could help them out. When you decide to get into your business, you have to completely change your mind. Oh, you definitely do. You have to change your mindset, and you actually have to make sure that you have the right mindset for the business that you're getting into. You got to know what it is, and you got to have thick skin. Yes, there's going to be days you're not going to sell anything. And you got to be okay with that. And you have to then use that as motivation for the next day to go, okay, I didn't sell today, but tomorrow I'm selling everything. And you have to fight because you were invested in this. Nobody sells your product. No one knows or should know your product better than you. And when you get out there, you have to make a person understand without being pushy. See, I'm not big on being pushy. What I am big on is making sure that you speak well enough that a person understands where your heart is, where your thoughts are, and how valuable the product is to them, for them. When you do that, a person now is not looking like, oh, I bought something. Oh, I supported that person. But what I was saying is, find somebody on your social media list or in your neighborhood. Just ask them, what can I do to support you? And you're going to find that there's a lot of things you can do that don't require any money. If you promote to the people on your list about someone on your page who's doing something, and that person makes a profit to it, when I started my first business, I got rid of my Xbox TV and all the BS. Yes, I mean, entertainment, all those things, if it's wasting time, you got to do that. Oh, I missed that question there. What was that one? Oh, I saw that. If you could actually repeat that or repost that again, I'm sorry, I missed that one. One of the things that I've learned with that too, you also have to be careful with social media. Like, scoping is great, but I'm not going to get on and scope every day, 2 and 3 times a day. And I'm not knocking those that do. I'm just saying there's other things that I could do that's going to help make me money that scoping is not going to do right now. Scoping is going to allow people to get to know me, and I'm with that. I'm happy with that. But at the same time, I have to check myself. Did I make sure that certain emails went out? Did I make sure that I finished certain parts of what I'm doing? Did I make sure that I study? And then how is this scope or how is whatever I'm doing now going to help me in what I'm doing? I sometimes ask myself, wait a minute, I'm on vacation right now from school. So of course my time is spent on like my books and stuff. But like when I'm watching my daughter, it's very difficult for me to get into a business mindset. So I'm watching scopes. And I see like sometimes the same person scope 3, 4, 5, 6 times over a 2-3 hour period. I'm like, that's fantastic. And if you got that much to talk about, God bless you. But there's things you could be doing because some of those same people out here, they own businesses. And I'm going, wait a minute. If you own a business, well, we just heard from you an hour ago. I said, okay, thank you. Oh, okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. I feel when I scope, you should get something from me. Because then what am I doing this for? I don't ever want to seem like I'm doing this for vanity reasons, because then I won't do it. That's what actually kept me from scoping when I first heard about it. I was like, okay, I do a lot on social media now, so to talk about it, but again, like most men should, I listen to my wife. They don't, but I do. I listened to my wife, and my wife said, you have a lot to say. You should be on often. And I said, okay, so that's what I did. And actually, a friend of mine actually said, you should be on a lot more than you are, because you do have things to talk about. And I really had to catch myself and think about it. So I have to think about what my subject matter is going to be before I put it out. But I want to make sure that a person gains something from listening to me and hearing from me. But as an entrepreneur, like I said, please find an entrepreneur. And trust me, they're out there. All you got to do is watch. You'll see people out there trying hard. And when you go out to different fairs and events, have a conversation with some of these folks and ask them, do you own this? Do you do this? How do you go about it? Listen to some of the work that goes into what they do, and you'll be surprised how that $10 purchase, you don't know what that can do for an entrepreneur. You don't know what it can do for a person when you go out and say, listen, I saw a guy who writes inspirational books, or I know a guy who's helping authors to create their dreams as to become self-published. Or I know people that make clothes, or I know people that make colognes or oils, and I know folks who do whatever. I know a person who comes in, will speak, but everybody wants the famous person, and sometimes a famous person is only giving you the same speech that you done heard 7 other times. He just twisted a little bit. So you're paying for something that's been regurgitated. And I'm not with that. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just simply saying to all of those guys, all of you that's listening, please reach out and support your entrepreneurs. Reach out and offer something. And I know times is tight. Yes, I do. My wife jumped on to tell me that. Yes, I have frozen berries. We do. Thank you, darling. I saw that you called. I figured you asked me something. I appreciate it. And also, another thing too is find people, entrepreneurs, who mirror the mindset that you have, or the faith that you have, or what you want to see in people. My wife and I try to live our lives transparent, where we put how we are out in the world, because we want folks to see what we do. Not, again, for vanity reasons, because we love the Lord like that. And we feel that people should be able to see a loving couple do things together. So we do business together. We travel together. We go out on a regular together. We're with each other all the time, because I love my wife. And I love doing business with my wife. Now, does she get on my nerves at times we doing business? Yes. Is it difficult sometimes doing business with somebody that you love? Yes. I'm a part of a mastermind I started this year. Great way to support one another. Okay. I need more information about that, brother. So definitely, because I know I've been checking out your scopes too. And you definitely put out some tremendous information. I definitely would like to learn more. I'm learning to do more in groups. It's very difficult for me because I don't have patience. It's like, even when I'm teaching, when I'm at staff meetings, it's so difficult to me. I just want to be like, can I go teach? Because I got to be filled with people I can respect where they are mentally, because sometimes I get so removed from the situation that I don't really play well in groups, but I'm learning. I network well. I just don't when it comes to groups. That's why a lot of times when I get group invites and people wonder why I'm so quiet, because I can't deal with foolishness. I can't deal with ignorance. And I just can't deal with time being wasted. So if we're having like the same conversation that we had the week before, I'm checking out. I'm gone. There's something else I could be doing. There's something else I could be learning. So I definitely love the information, and I will definitely check it out. Like I said, anybody wants to hit my inbox, fine, or send me email, info@bravenpublishing.com. And if you want to check out my website, it's bravenpublishing.com. All our information is there. My wife and I have published 17 books to date. 3 are my own. The 3rd one is coming out very soon. Should have been out, but I've taken my time to go back over it. I've been a part of 5 or 6 anthologies. Shout out to Elise Gabriel. I am a part of Soul of a Man Part 2. And in 2009, we did Soul of a Man Part 1, which won Anthology of the Year award. And she invited me. I first announced it in the mastermind in January. People joined. Okay, cool. But they weren't. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, I've been invited to a lot of groups, to do a lot of group things, but I tend to get very frustrated because if they're moving too slow, or I don't ever want to come into somebody's group and then feel like I need to take the lead, because I don't want to take the reins from anybody, and I don't want to feel like I'm jumping anybody's position. So I just sit there quietly, but sometimes it's very difficult for me. The only other past few months I've attracted, okay. So my thing now is I've been looking at people on a higher level than me and figuring out how I can learn from them, and then reaching out to contact. My biggest thing now, what I'm doing is developing my email list. I'm looking at companies, getting their contact information. I have 2 press releases that I'm having rewritten. One is for the business, one is for my next book. And I'm up to about 700 emails now, and I'm trying to get to 1,000 before the end of this month. And I want to send the press releases out, I think, early September. So I want to really try to get to 1,500 before November. And hopefully the goal is 5,000 before the end of the year, to have 5,000 email contacts where when I send out a press release or I send out something to those 5,000, I know it's going, and then we'll see where things go from there. And that's really my thing now, is using the digital situation to send out emails, which are free, with a lot of information, and see how many people read it. And then that way I can have that working while I then make some of the physical calls that I might want to make. Because I'm going back to some of the old-fashioned ways of trying to contact people and build relationships. I'm tired of just being a name in a social media arena where people know my name, they see the pictures. This is why I'm doing scopes and stuff like that, as well as I already have videos on YouTube. So if anybody wants to look, just check out KL the Writer. Was my original name, so I just didn't change it. So I think it's KL Belvin now. I think I changed it to, or KL the Writer. But if you look up KL Belvin on YouTube, you see a lot of the videos that I've put out. So I am simply trying to do the things necessary to allow me to reach people so I can build my platform, which is speaking, which is writing, which is teaching. I'm going back to school in January to work on my second master's degree in ministry/counseling, because that's another area that I want to move into. And there's never such thing as enough hats for me. Yes, old-fashioned ways work. And that's another thing too, is getting out and building relationships. That's another thing that I'm tremendous on right now. I want to build relationships because I need to know where you are anyway, because if what you believe and what you're about don't line up with my faith, then we can't do business to begin with. Money doesn't override my faith. I don't care how much money you offer me. If it's opposite what my faith is, keep it. I'm not taking it. And some people don't believe that, so they'll approach me and they'll say, I want you to help me publish this book. And then when they tell me what the book is about, I go, I'm sorry, I can't have anything to do with that. And they look at me like I'm crazy, like, but I'm paying you. And I'm like, okay, what's that mean? You're going to pay me anyway. I'm a professional. But you're not going to override my faith because you offer me money. As a professional, I expect to be paid for the things that I do professionally. But it doesn't mean my faith is going to be subjugated to the fact that you have offered money. And I have seen people look at me like, you don't understand. You can take that money and do good things. Bad money is bad money from the start. Bad money doesn't create good things. You can sit there and confuse yourself. It's all about purpose. Definitely, brother. You can sit there and confuse yourself about that. If you know going in that is negative and you co-sign to that, you deal with your God any way that you choose to on that. I'm not. And I'd rather leave money on the table and be comfortable with who I am than take that money and then have to check myself later like, why'd I do that? I'm not doing it. I lived that life a long time ago. I'm not going back to it. That's why I wrote a book about it, From Gigolo to Jesus, so you understand what I was then to what I am now, and I'm not going backwards for anyone. And being an entrepreneur is part of my push. Part of my mantra as an entrepreneur is to show people the man that I am now and get them to support that so we can try to prevent others from being what I was. So every dollar that I take in from whatever I do, yes, that's why I'm going back to school in January to work on my degree in ministry. In January, I start my pastoral services. I'm getting a degree in ministry/counseling. It'll be my second master's degree. So yes, preaching is something that I want to do, but not in its current form. I believe churches are missing the mark with a lot of people because they're not actually working with folks to show them actual application of the faith. But that's another scope that I have planned for another day when we actually talk about some of the reasons why people are staying away from church. Oh, no, not at all. No, it's not a disrespect. It's not. No. Listen, I'm an educator. I appreciate every question because it either means I didn't explain something or I get an opportunity to learn something. There are no dumb questions because in every question there's an explanation to something. And a good educator doesn't mind any questions. Now, if it's something that I answered, I'll say, listen, I answered that, whatever. But no, I appreciate the question. But yes, I'm going to work on my degree in ministry and counseling because I believe that folks away from the church need someone to bridge that gap for them because so many people have avoided the church. But like I said, that's going to be another scope to get into because I might make some of my church folks mad when they hear some of the things that I got to say, but it's where I'm at right now. And this is why I'm going to school to work on my degree in ministry because I want to reach some of these people who at one time, have you ever noticed this? And I'm going to get back to the entrepreneur thing. Have you noticed that a lot of people who say they used to be Christians, but now they're not, either grew up in the church or was connected to the church and something pushed them away? And most of the people that say that I used to be or I came up and somehow the church pushed them away. Shouldn't be. But like I said, we're going to talk about that then. So as I get ready to close this up and wind this down, I simply want to say to all of you watching, please reach out to local entrepreneurs. They are in every city, every town, every country. There is somebody out there who wants to do it for themselves, who invested in themselves, who took time to create a platform for business for themselves, who, if you can't use their services, someone you know, I'm going to say that again. If you can't, someone you know could use whatever they are creating. Now, me, it's books. So you can't tell me you don't know somebody that don't need no book. So come on, let's be honest with each other. Second, no matter what they do, support them. But get to know them first. I'm not just saying blind support, not at all. I'm saying talk to them, find out what they are, find out who they are, and then look to support them. And if you don't do nothing else, promote them for a week on your page. Actually tell them that you're going to do that. Some may like it so much they grant you something free or give you a heavy discount on something which gains you, but don't do it for that. Do it to help. And trust me, when you do things to help, doors open up to things that you didn't even think about. That's why I don't worry about helping others. Even when I get screwed over, I don't worry about it because I learned something from it. I learned what not to do. And the third thing is, let's open our minds and get away from traditional mindsets. Let's get away from running and giving our money to people who we have no connection to. That's what I love. Okay. Thank you. Oh, definitely. And I'm finding that now, and I'm learning because I'm watching the scopes and I'm talking to more people, and I'm learning that people are very supportive, but we have to keep it going. We have to then extend it past this format here to where we're now actually doing direct contact with each other, where we're actually having say Google Hangouts, where you're speaking to somebody directly, so you don't have to spend long distance charges. You can talk to somebody just like you're talking on Periscope, but now the two of you are talking directly. A friend of mine, one of the life coaches that I speak to, he's in Italy, and him and I speak, say, once every couple of weeks, and we do it via Google Hangouts. And we have a wonderful hour and a half conversation. He's been tremendous. I've learned a whole lot, and we're sharing. And I met him on Twitter. So the mediums are there, the formats are there, and there's entrepreneurs that could use your help and your support. Please take this as an opportunity to share with someone. Please share it as much as possible. Come back, rewatch it. And if you want to reach out and contact me, info at bravenpublishing.com is my email. My website is www.bravenpublishing.com. Every social media place that you can think of, just put in KL Belvin. I'm probably on it. I use the same name because I want to keep everything consistent. I'm on Google+. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Twitter, it's KL Belvin and Braven Books. Those are my two. Facebook, it's my literary page is author KL Belvin. Braven Publishing. And Making Marriage Cool Again is my wife and I site. That'll be another scope for another day. And KL Belvin on Facebook. So listen, I'm everywhere. I try to be anyway. But again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time out. Also, make sure that if there's if you want me to come and speak, please understand I have no problem traveling. I will drive anywhere. But you can't say just come and speak for free when you know the gas costs money. No, I'm not going to try to hold you up, and no, I'm not going to try to rake you over the coals. But I always ask folks that we got to sit down and at least discuss an honorarium or some type of payment or something, or at least allow me to sell my books, something, because I got to be able to make up the money that it cost me to get to you. I don't mind how long you want me to speak. I don't mind who you want me to speak to. I speak to older men, women, kids. I have no problem with any of that. But what I want you to understand is that you can't have professional people show up and work for free, and you at least not give them an opportunity to make some type of money on what they do. And it's not holding you up, and it's not being a gold digger. It's not holding my nose up at anybody. I just can't travel everywhere for free. If I'm going to be away from my wife and child for a day or two, and I'm going to come speak at your event, if you're charging for that event, some of that should come to me. If you're not going to give me something, then give me an opportunity to set up to sell my books when I'm done, or something. We gotta be able to work out something, because this is what allows me to do what I do as a businessman. And I'm not saying that to try to dig into your pockets. I'm not. I will work with any organization, any individual, anything that fits where I am, like I said, with my faith. And money-wise, I will work with you. If you only have but so much, we'll work with that. Because this is why I own my own company. There's things that I can do that we can work something out. But let's talk about it. Let's deal with things as a professional. And act that same way with anybody else that you deal with. Trust me, they'll respect you more for it. But guys, I thank you. Let me get out of here. I got to call my mom. Mom just called me. I got to give her a call back. Yes, got to call mom once a day, see how she's doing, check on her. But again, thank you guys. I'm not sure when I'll be back on with another scope, but feel free to replay this, and I would love to hear from you and know what you thought. Take care. God bless. It's the funny thing, I don't know how to stop my scopes.